The definition of an NCAA student athlete is changing. Some students are receiving monetary stipends, and others may soon be able to profit off their name, image, and likeness. Student athletes are becoming more autonomous, and that may soon extend outside the realm of the monetary. A new rule proposed by the Big Ten could constitute another change, this time to a restrictive transfer rule. As with anything, there are pros and cons to changing the status quo. So what is this transfer proposal? What are the side effects? How would that work? Generally, NCAA student athletes who transfer from one Division I school to another are required to sit out the year before they can play for their new team. This applies to athletes who play football, men's or women's college basketball, baseball, or men's hockey. The NCAA calls this a year in residence. There are some exceptions. For example, graduate transfers are immediately eligible to play. But a new proposal, introduced in 2019 but tabled by the NCAA until next year, would allow those athletes to transfer one time without sitting out a year. So let's break down some of those pros and cons from this new plan. First, poaching. According to Ohio State Athletic Director Gene Smith, coaches already find backdoor methods to recruit athletes from other programs. But Smith is more concerned with Power 5 schools poaching players from other Power 5 schools rather than big programs bringing in players from smaller programs. North Carolina football coach Mack Brown thinks it would bring on immediate chaos. One of the toughest things now for a head football coach in college is roster management, says Brown. Let's say you lose your quarterback. You could have a whole senior class transfer to a place where they're going to win. We don't want to get to the wild, wild west. Brown believes guardrails would need to be in place with new NCAA transfer legislation to protect schools from poaching. Second, the double standard. Currently, there are 20 NCAA sports that are allowed one-time transfers and instant eligibility. Michigan AD Ward Manuel thinks that double standard needs to change. We have 5 sports that are not allowed to transfer in this day and age. That is something we need to fix. We need to give all young people the flexibility to transfer once. If they transfer a second time, there is no waiver. Not only is there a double standard from sport to sport, there's a double standard from coach to player. Athletes must sit out a year after moving to another school, but coaches, they can take over a new program immediately. To use a recent example, when Mike Leach left his job at Washington State to join Mississippi State ahead of the 2020 season, he was free to do so. There is no waiting period for Leach as he jumped from the Cougars sideline to the Bulldogs sideline. But if any of his Washington State players wanted out because he left, and they weren't grad students, they would have to wait a year before playing in their new school. Finally, the lingering questions. What would this lead to? Would student athletes leave their programs because of a lack of playing time, or simply because they wanted to join a better team? Consider the potential competitive imbalance with athletes performing well at mid-major schools, then leaving to join the hottest program. Would loyalty to one school simply go by the wayside? Would there be years where programs would be hit hard by big transfer moves, graduations, and departures to the professional ranks? These are all questions that need to be answered. But there appears to be league-wide interest in making this change from Big Ten ADs. And if it's enacted, it would be yet another proposal designed to give student athletes more freedom, flexibility, and power. Is the new transfer rule a good thing or a bad thing? The debate will continue, but that's how it would work.